was a magnificent sea kingdom in the middle of a vast ocean. The youngest princess of this kingdom, the mermaid Araya, was very excited to go on an ocean trip that day. Daddy, we haven't been on an ocean trip together in a long time. Would you like to come with me?
Today, I'm going to build a shelter for the fish families from sinking ships, my beautiful daughter. I might join you on the next trip.
Then I'll come back to help you when I get back. The little mermaid swam into the depths of the ocean. A frightful school of fish and a family of turtles passed by. Hey, what's going on? What are you running from?
Run, mermaid, run! A huge gate draws everyone in.
The mermaid created a bubble shield for herself and swam quickly towards the mysterious gate. She was very surprised to find that there was indeed a closed gate in the depths of the ocean. When she got a little closer, the gate suddenly opened and a big vortex engulfed the mermaid Araya. Araya found herself in a completely different ocean. The fish and corals here were colorless, and the water was turbid and dirty. When Araya looked back in surprise, the vortex was closed and the mysterious gate was gone. She noticed the starfish at the bottom of the cliffs as she hurried around. Hello, starfish? Oh, I think I'm lost. Can you help me?
Was? Was für ein Ding bist du? Ich verstehe nicht, was du sagst.
Seeing a sea person for the first time in their lives, the starfish hid under rocks in fear. The mermaid, on the other hand, did not understand why the stars were running away from her because they were speaking in a language she did not know. Meanwhile, she saw a pale and tired lobster approaching her. Hey, lobster! I think I'm lost. Can you help me?
Cosa? Scusa, ma non ti capisco. E non capisco neanche se sei un essere umano o un pesce.
Oh, Adisebaba! Kami belül pernameleri kanse perti serilmia.
Oh, no. I don't speak the same language as you, a little fish. How are we going to understand each other? The little mermaid, Araya, tried to ask for help using her hands, but the lobster was afraid of these movements and immediately ran away from there. Just when the little mermaid decided to swim to the land, she saw a blowfish in the distance. She swam to him quickly and asked for help. Please help me, blowfish. I'm lost and I can't go back.
Oh, eres una persona del mar?
I can't understand what you're saying, but I won't hurt you. Don't worry. When the mermaid Araya gave her hand to the blowfish panicked for a moment and inflated his poisonous fin, and his fin touched the little mermaid. The little mermaid fell weak on the spot and sank to the bottom of the water with her eyes closed. Time has flown. Poseidon, the underwater king, was looking for his daughter Araya, who had not returned to the kingdom for hours.
Keep searching the ocean!
When the little mermaid regained consciousness, she opened her eyes in the house of an old jellyfish. The old jellyfish was waiting beside Araya. You have finally come to life! Finally a creature I speak the same language with! Thank you for saving me. The jellyfish told Araya that she also had accidentally come to this side of the ocean years ago, and then could never return. That's why I learned every language here. But my power is not enough to make this place beautiful, mermaid. I have a solution in mind, but we have to find the mysterious gate first. Mermaid Araya and the old jellyfish swam together to the far reaches of the ocean. Then the old jellyfish whistled loudly. Suddenly, a lot of squid pupils gathered around her. The jellyfish asked them to release their ink at the same time. The mysterious gate, which was transparent the moment the fish released their ink, suddenly became visible. But no matter how hard they pushed, the gate didn't open. Therefore, the little mermaid created a hammer from water bubbles and hit the gate with great force. Thus, as the gate opened, they found themselves in the other ocean. Together, they swam to the Sea Kingdom. Araya told her father Poseidon, one by one, how unclean and neglected that completely different world she saw was.
The thing to do is clear. We will clean that water as soon as possible, and we will provide a nice habitat for the fish.
Together, they swam to the place where the mysterious gate was located. Poseidon raised his hand and created such great waves that the mysterious gate appeared for a moment and then shattered. Thus, the two oceans came together. The waters became clean, and the sea creatures were very happy. In the meantime, Poseidon, realizing that the fish had difficulty in understanding each other's languages, turned a sunken ship into a school. Thus, all the fish would have been able to learn each other's languages.
No me envenenarás más, ¿verdad, pequeña burbuja?
I won't hurt you again, Mermaid. I'm sorry.
After Poseidon cleaned the waters, all the fish joined hands to beautify this new world where they learned each other's languages. Because every new language always opens the gates of a new world.
Once upon a time, there was a kind-hearted queen who lived in a snow-white castle surrounded by an enchanted forest. While watching the flaky snowfall on a cold winter day, the queen was daydreaming. She could hear children playing in the snow outside. She opened the window to see them, and the wind whisked away the queen's favorite red handkerchief, and the handkerchief fell right on top of the snowman the children were building. They waved and thanked the kind-hearted queen.
I wish I had a daughter with skin as white as snow, cherry red lips, and a kind heart.
The months passed, and the dream of the kind-hearted queen came true. When 9 months later, her long-awaited wish came true, and the king and queen had a baby girl, the most beautiful in the world, and they named her Snow White. But their happiness did not last long. While Snow White was still a little girl, the queen passed away and became a star in the sky. A few years later, Snow White's father married a woman named Hela. The king was amazed by the beauty of the new queen, so he never realized that she was arrogant and proud. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?
You, my queen, are indeed the fairest in the land.
No one can be more beautiful than me. Snow White grew into a beautiful young lady. Her father, the king, went on a long journey with his soldiers and gave his daughter a big hug before he left.
Don't be sad, Snow White. I'll be back.
One day, the vain, evil-hearted Queen Hela called her chamberlain Dunkov. Unveil my magic mirror, Dunkov. Chamberlain Dunkov was clumsy and pulled the cover down onto himself. You fool! Get out right now! The queen admired herself in the mirror and then said, Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? The magic mirror answered her.
In this land, my queen, you are no longer fairest in the land. Snow White is the most beautiful.
Hela became very angry.
It can't be. No one can be more beautiful than me.
The whole castle seemed to shake with her anger, and her evil heart wanted to destroy the beauty of Snow White. She made a plan and ordered the royal huntsman to take Snow White into the enchanted woods and kill her.
And bring me back her heart.
Snow White trusted the royal huntsman and went with him into the woods. Along the way, she saw a wounded bird on the ground. And Snow White picked up the bird to help heal its wing. Behind her, the royal huntsman sneaked up on her and took out his bow to shoot Snow White. He drew back the bow and took aim, but he could see that the girl had a kind heart as she held the wounded bird, and he decided it was wrong to kill Snow White.
Snow White, she ordered me to take your life. I can't kill a person as good and kind as you.
Who wants to take my life?
It's Queen Hela. You must run away and hide.
The huntsman chose to trick the queen and killed a wild boar instead, so he could take the boar's heart to the queen and make Hela think that the princess was dead. The princess was terrified and ran through the dark woods. She struggled through sharp branches and bats in the night until she could run no further. She collapsed against a tree and fell asleep in the cold, dark, enchanted forest. When the huntsman reached the castle, he marched directly to the queen.
I have fulfilled your command.
Queen Hela took the box and examined the heart. She believed that Snow White was dead, and her evil laughter echoed through the castle. When the sun finally rose, Snow White woke up in the heart of the forest, and there before her was the cutest little house with a small garden gate and picket fence, tiny windows with a doorbell, and a round green door. She rang the bell, but no one answered, and when she reached for the door to knock, it opened. Inside, everything was so small that it felt like she was in a toy house. Tiny pots, tiny spoons, glasses. When she found a tiny bowl of soup, she was so hungry that she ate it. And then fell asleep on a tiny bed. Not far away, the owners of the house finished their work in the mines and went home. As soon as they entered, they knew something was wrong. So they walked quietly and whispered.
Shh. Someone has eaten my bread.
Someone has used my plate.
Someone is sleeping in my bed right now. Such a beautiful girl.
Hey! Look out! Get the lamp! Catch! Hey! Wow! Get the lamp! Catch! Yikes! Phew! What? Shh! She's awakened. She's hiding under the blanket.
Don't be afraid of us, little girl. We are the 7 dwarfs.
I am Ace, and these are jolly, angry, curious, silly, shy, and lazy.
Well, I am Snow White. I'm sorry I wandered into your house. Snow White told them everything that had happened to her, and the dwarves were very sad to hear her tale. So they said she could stay with them in their little house, but only on one condition.
We really love to sing. Is your voice beautiful, my princess?
Snow White is my name. I'm far away from the castle today. I stare at the sky and speak to my mother. She is now among the stars. I have found happiness in this forest. My little friends protect me here. Their tiny hearts are now full of hope. Good little hearts will win again.
Far away in another land, there was a young, handsome prince. His name was Antoine. He loved sitting outside at night and looking at the stars, which reminded him of the people he loved. One night, he saw the face of Snow White in the starry sky and felt he should seek her out. A fairy told him she was in danger and gave him a magical heart necklace. So Prince Antoine got his trusty horse and rode away to find the beautiful face in the sky. Back in the castle, the evil-hearted Hela was again in front of her magic mirror. Dunkov, uncover the magic mirror. Let me see my beauty. Dunkov entered, but the cover got caught on the mirror, and he almost knocked it over. Dunkov is such a clumsy assistant. Always, at the most critical times, he becomes awkward and clumsy. The queen was continually annoyed with him. When Dunkov had left, Queen Hela again asked the mirror to tell her how beautiful she was. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?
Sorry, my queen, but Snow White, who lives with the 7 dwarves, is the fairest in the land.
No! I thought Snow White was dead! The queen stayed up all night, making evil plans to kill Snow White once and for all. She decided the best way to disguise herself, so she changed into a cute little bunny. In the morning, the dwarves went off to work. One by one, they kissed Snow White on the cheek and walked to the mine. And they warned her to be careful while in the house alone.
Now, princess, don't open the door to strangers. It isn't safe.
The forest seemed peaceful, and Snow White began to water the flowers in the garden. The princess noticed a little bunny sitting in the garden who seemed hurt. She went over and picked it up and brought it inside the house. She bandaged the rabbit's hurt leg and let it rest in the sun on the dwarf's bed. The bunny seemed like it was sleeping, but as soon as the princess left the room, the rabbit opened its eyes and looked around. Then it jumped, and turned back into the evil Queen Hela. This was exactly what she had planned. She poured purple poison into the pillow, thinking that the princess would sleep there and die from the poison. Snow White was so tired from working in the garden that she went inside to rest. She was just about to put her head down on the poisoned pillow
Snow White! Snow White!
when she heard the dwarves come home. The princess met them at the door, and after a delicious dinner, they danced all night long. Snow White fell asleep in front of the fireplace, and it's a good thing that she did, because then she wouldn't be sleeping on the poisonous pillow. When the queen returned to her castle, Dunkop was still asleep, guarding her door. Thinking her plan had succeeded, she went to the magic mirror.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?
My queen, Snow White, who lives with the 7 dwarves, is more beautiful than you.
Grr. No, 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 no. I should be the most beautiful in all the land. Me! I will make a plan that will kill Snow White.
A few days later, while the dwarves worked in the mine, Snow White was sewing some of the dwarves' worn clothing. And then she heard a knock on the door. The door was knocked 3 times. Snow White looked through the door to see who it was. And it was an old, ugly woman with a basket of apples.
Who are you? I'm a saleswoman. I have very delicious apples. Would you like to try one?
Snow White was afraid to open the door at first, but she loved red apples.
Here you go. Enjoy it, my beautiful child. A free sample.
Snow White took the apple given by the old woman and took a bite. The apple had been poisoned. She fell to the ground before she could even cry out for help. Just down the road, Prince Antoine rested his horse in the shade of a tree. He had traveled far to find the beautiful face he had seen in the sky. Just off the road, he saw an old woman walking along. He was about to go speak with her when suddenly she transformed into the evil Queen Hela. The prince and his horse were stunned, and he decided to not go ask her for directions. Later that night, when the dwarves came home, they saw Snow White, still and lifeless, on the floor. They were so sad, and their hearts were broken into 1,000 pieces. They crafted a beautiful glass coffin and carried her to the country's longest river so that all the people of the kingdom would know of her beauty. Just downstream, the prince was traveling on his horse on the riverbank, and he noticed the glass coffin in the boat. He recognized the face of the girl immediately. The prince was very sad. But he opened the cover of the coffin. He took the stardust necklace from his pocket and put it on the princess.
Goodbye, my princess. Shine like a star wherever you are.
But just then, the prince saw Snow White move. The stardust necklace was magical and rewarded him for his diligent search of the face he saw in the sky. Snow White revived. When she awoke, she was amazed to have such a handsome prince standing beside her, rescuing her. When they eventually got to shore and returned to Snow White's castle, she and Prince Antoine told the king everything. When the king learned what Queen Hela did to Snow White, he banished her from the kingdom. The king locked the magic mirror and all of the queen's possessions into the dungeon of the castle. Many months later, Snow White and the prince fell in love. because this was not an arranged marriage, and had a beautiful wedding in the castle. They invited the dwarfs and celebrated and lived happily ever after. Cinderella and the Three Witches. Once upon a time, in a land far away, there lived a magician named Xenia. Xenia believed that she was the most powerful magician that had ever existed. But when the fairy Leabelle broke one of her spells, Xenia realized that her magic had weakened. So, she used her magic to summon magicians and witches to join forces.
I'm calling for you, magicians and witches from everywhere.
Do you think the thing is turned on?
Give me a sign.
The first one to respond to Xenia's calls was the evil witch, Hella. Then, Vega from the underwater world came into conversation. And finally, they began to make treacherous plans together. Hella told that she wanted to destroy the beauty of Snow White, and Vega planned to take control of the underwater kingdom by harming Mermaid Aria.
We must win a war against the princesses, but we will start with Cinderella.
Then let's go get Snow White.
And Aria.
As the trio of witches cackled with evil laughter, Cinderella awoke to a happy morning with her little mouse friends.
The rainbow is all above. Your prince will give you love. So never give up believing. Two hearts are never leaving. Dream, Cinderella, dream. Your heart shines in this dream. Dream, Cinderella, dream. Your heart shines in this dream.
How beautiful you look, my princess.
But before she could answer, the earth began to shake under their feet. The trees around them were about to fall over. They swung to the left and to the right. Cinderella's friend, the white pigeon, flew towards them nervously.
What's going on here? Please call for help, White Pigeon.
When the white pigeon noticed Cinderella's situation, she flew to the ocean with a letter to the underwater kingdom.
What is happening?
No! No! The castle! My prince, look! The castle is falling!
The castle began to fade away. It was about to be wiped from the earth. This was all happening because the three evil magicians, Xenia, Hella, and Vega, bewitched the castle together with the help of their crystal balls. They thought they couldn't be stopped.
And when the castle completely crumbles, you will disappear.
When Cinderella and Prince Leo ran away from the castle, it began to rain. So they took shelter under a hazelnut tree.
This is a hazelnut tree. That means we can call for Leabelle.
Cinderella put her hand on the hazelnut tree, closed her eyes, and called for the good fairy Leabelle.
Leabelle, Leabelle, help us to break the spell.
When she heard Cinderella's voice, Leabelle appeared under the tree and used her wand to find out what was going on.
There's witches in the tree.
Oh no, Cinderella! This is the work of 3 powerful witches. They are so strong. We must hurry up and break this spell. With a little magic, Fairy Leabelle took everyone to the castle. When they arrived, they couldn't believe what they saw. The old castle was gone. Instead, there was a new, evil-looking castle. Mozzarella and Cheddar were also in shock. Suddenly, Xenia the magician appeared in front of the castle, with Hella and Vega next to her. You came to the wrong place. Now you don't have a home.
And now you will disappear too. Each of the evil witches started to fire magic bolts at Cinderella. Leabelle panicked and tried to shield Cinderella from the magic rays with her wand. But she was outnumbered, and the magic drained the power. She was almost defeated. She couldn't hold her magic wand any longer, and it dropped. Cinderella quickly took the magic wand and turned it to the witches. Fortunately, the light from the wand could stop the magic rays.
Oh no! Oh no! What are we going to do now?
But the evil witches wouldn't give up. This time, Vega used her power to defeat Cinderella by using water from deep down in the earth. She made the water split, and water streamed out.
Oh no! How could she do this?
You will never be able to defeat me. As the water streamed all over, something unexpected happened. Little Mermaid Aria's father, King Poseidon, appeared.
I read your letter. Leave Vega to me.
Poseidon used his trident and directed some of the water towards the witches.
Throw the witch in the trash.
You can't do this! Vega tried to stop the water, but she couldn't. Poseidon pointed his trident at the witches again and turned the water into ice, so that the witches were trapped in a giant ice block. Leabelle saw her chance to help. She reached out for her wand and used its power to wrap a chain around the ice block and put a big lock on them. Then she lifted them up and threw them onto a mountain where no one would ever dare to climb. Finally, the witches had been defeated.
Thanks,
Poseidon.
Poseidon returned to the underwater kingdom. Good Fairy Leabelle made the new terrible-looking castle disappear and restored Cinderella's beautiful castle back to where it was. Prince Leo and Cinderella were so glad to have their castle back. Thank you, Leabelle. No matter how evil the witches are, they will never be able to defeat your kindness.
I will protect you forever, dear Cinderella.
The witches received the punishment for what they had done. They stayed trapped in the ice block on a mountain until the sun melted the ice, and they returned to their lives.
This war hasn't ended here, Leabelle and Cinderella.
As soon as Rapunzel's witch Camilla joins us, you will be defeated.
Rapunzel, the Gathering of the Princesses. Once upon a time, when the autumn leaves fell down from the trees, the most powerful and vicious witches came together. Camilla, Xenia, Hella, and Vega.
What am I, decoration? Don't forget about me.
And their vicious owl. They aimed to defeat every kind-hearted princess in the world and rule with evil and cruelty. On a beautiful day, Rapunzel was painting a picture of the watermelons in the castle's garden.
Those watermelons look so good, don't they, Clapsy? I bet they taste just as delicious.
So Clapsy went into the garden to taste a piece of watermelon. When suddenly, the baby dragon Drado appeared in front of her. He scared her with his evil gaze. So poor Clapsy slipped and fell directly into a watermelon out of fear.
Clapsy!
Her clumsiness made Rapunzel laugh, but Drado still didn't even give a smile to her.
Look at that huge watermelon! What's going on over there?
One of the watermelons Rapunzel was drawing became larger and larger, until it was the size of a house. Rapunzel, Drado, and Clapsy couldn't believe what they saw.
Did you see what just happened? Let's look inside.
When Rapunzel and Clapsy went in, they saw a small room with walls decorated in various patterns of watermelon seeds. And also a big glittering book.
The Book of Princesses? There are other princesses besides you, Rapunzel? I guess so. Let's have a look at what's written inside. Whichever princess finds this book should read it with care, so you'll know which princesses live where. You'll never know when you need each other. Oh, other princesses? When all 4 princesses come together and unite, they will learn how powerful they are in a fight. Soon in the future, a new war will begin between princesses and witches, but who will win? By the time you finish reading, you won't have much time to seek all the friends you can find. Find Cinderella first and then get to the rest. And remember, my dear, kind hearts together are best.
Rapunzel told Drado about what the book said and asked him to find Cinderella. The baby dragon took on this task and flew away in a hurry. After some time, he arrived somewhere to meet the 2 mice called Mozzarella and Cheddar. He told them about Rapunzel's message and that the princesses had to meet under the lighthouse. Mozzarella and Cheddar rushed to tell Cinderella, who immediately left to meet the other princesses. As she passed through the magic forest, she saw Freckled, who was picking blackberries.
Hey, Freckled! Tell Snow White that we need to meet up under the lighthouse.
So Freckled went right away to tell Snow White. And when Snow White went off, she saw Seagull Ringo flying over her and called,
Hey, Ringo! Ringo! You have to tell Mermaid Aria! All the princesses must gather under the lighthouse!
So Seagull Ringo flew to the palace at the beach to tell the mermaid what he heard. But the mermaid wasn't in the palace. So Ringo stood at the pier and started to whistle. Dolphy, who heard Ringo whistle, showed up through the waves. Ringo asked Dolphy to swim directly to the Little Mermaid and tell her the news of Snow White. Then, Dolphy jumped into the water to swim to the underwater kingdom and told Arya what he heard. As soon as Arya understood what was going on, she quickly swam to the lighthouse on the sea's surface. When the mermaid arrived, her fishtail turned into human legs, and she quickly reached the place where the princesses had gathered.
Hi, I'm Mermaid Arya. So you must be the other princesses? Arya, welcome. I'm Rapunzel. I'm Snow White. And my name is Cinderella. See, now we're all together.
They talked until the sun took the place of the moon and told their stories to each other. At the end of the night, when the lighthouse lit up the sea, the princesses went into a forest area to discover their superpowers.
It's time to show our power to the witches who want to spread evil around the world. That's right! We should get ready!
Cinderella told the other princesses about her ability to speak with animals.
Aha! So that means you can talk to my little dragon friend Drado? A dragon? Wonderful! Wow! It's so cool!
Drado showed up.
Hello, Drado. Can you speak my language? Yes, I'm glad to meet you. Wow, you really do talk to animals. So, what's your superpower, Mermaid Arya? I can make everything you see here move.
The mermaid closed her eyes and put her hands together. With the scattered light around her, she lifted all the princesses into the air. The princesses were very impressed by this power. Arya took them off again. But Cinderella lost her balance and hurt her ankle.
Ah, my ankle! My ankle hurts.
Snow White touched Cinderella's ankle with both her hands. And with the heat in between her hands,
This is brilliant, Snow White! My ankle is cured. I can stand up. And this is my superpower. With my hands, I can cure wounds.
Finally, Rapunzel whispered some magic words to her hair and lifted them up to the sky. Her golden, shiny hair split into 4 parts. Each part bent down to a princess and spread like gold dust. Then, the parts became one again and formed a bridge that the princesses could cross.
My superpower is that I have control over my hair. Wow, this is so cool.
Snow White, Mermaid Arya, Cinderella, and Rapunzel felt that their powers together could defeat the evil witches. So on one side, there were 4 good-hearted princesses. On the other were the 4 evil witches who stood together.
What about me? I'm standing here.
And an evil owl. But remember, Owl, in fairy tales, the good always wins over evil.